Now in this video I'm going to be looking at flow capacity. Alright, so this is a really useful thing if you're designing different types of networks. So we'll look at some examples for that. So some examples for that might be a sewage pipe network or drainage, broadband network, okay, making sure you got enough bandwidth between in your network, a road network, so continuing looking at traffic flow. If you've ever been down South Road at present, they're obviously upgrading that road, and that's all about increasing the traffic flow and time it takes to get to town. Crowd management, okay, when you're designing venues, so if you imagine going to see the Crows or the Power, right, being able to get people in and out of that venue quickly is a really important thing. And we know that in certain cases people have been killed when we've had people rushing out of a venue. They get crushed. So train and bus networks, the number of people in and out of those. So some people's jobs, what they are about making these networks really efficient. And obviously an electricity network is one of those key ones that we just assume that we plug something in and we're going to get power. We need to make sure that we've got enough capacity through that network. So that's what we're looking at here, is examples of how that works. So here's my network, my start of my network and the finish of my network. So this might be the start of the road, the finishing of the road. So what's the maximum flow through this network? All right, so this is what we're going to do. So if I'm thinking about that pathway there and that way and there, all right, so I'm going to start working my way back. All right, so if I cross that 5 out, alright, then I'm going to have 0 left in that network there. I'm going to have 2 left in that network and a capacity still of 11, which is 16 take 5. If I go this way, alright, then I cross my 4 out. The smallest one on that line, that pathway there, is actually 2. Alright, so I'm going to cross the 3 out. I'm going to have 1 left there. I'm going to cross the 4 out. I've got 2 left in that pathway. And I'm going to cross the 11 out, and I'm only going to have 9 left in that pathway. So the next path I could follow is probably this pathway here. Now the smallest number on that pathway is number 1. All right, so I'm going to cross all those things out again on that pathway. I'm going to take 1 away. And so 4 take 1 is 3, 18 take 1 is 17. Alright, now my final pathway I can go is this way here, and the smallest number in that pathway is 1, and so therefore I'll cross everything out and take 1 away. Alright, so now when I'm thinking about what my maximum flow through that network would be 5 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1, which is 9. Alright, now one of the questions I might look at is how could I increase that network? Well, what road could I increase, or what pipe could I increase that might allow me to increase the network? Well, straight away I'm thinking this one down the bottom here, right, is probably a good one to actually think about upgrading, all right, because I've got 16.5. But straight away, if I had another 5 on that network, I could increase that. All right, so let's look at a second example. So we'll start systematically going through this network there. The smallest number on that network is 5. So I cross that out, take 5 away from each of those, and that means I've got 5 to start with in my network. The next pathway, and it's probably a good idea to do your maximum flow as you go through, all right, would be this pathway there. The smallest number along that is number 7. So I have to take 7 away from all of those, as you can see. All right, and then can I go through that network? Well, the network I have to go is through this particular pathway, and so the smallest number on that pathway would be number 3. Away you go, cross that out, take 3 away from every one of these. All right, now the only other pathway I can go now will be the bottom path, and the smallest number along there is 6, and so therefore take away 6, and that leaves me with a maximum flow of 21 through that network. Hopefully that makes sense, and have a go at the questions that we've got for you, and if you have any problems, make sure